So I wasn't sure if I wanted to share this on social, but I've been documenting for the last 10 years, and I feel like I've definitely swam way too far to turn back. I just came back from the hospital, and my dad is on his deathbed. He's been on borrowed time for, I say, the last 5 years, and I think this is it. He's hooked up to machines, and everything is shutting down. And I wanted to go there, and I wanted to look into his eyes, and I wanted to see him before he passed. And I've never seen someone cry. You see it in horror movies, but to see a human being cry without hearing anything, so you see the tears in his eyes, and you see his expression, and you feel his energy, but he's not able to talk, so it's silent. And I held his hand, and I just looked into his eyes, and I saw the flashbacks of one's life, and I saw him in the Vietnam War, and all the exaggerated stories of him eating snake and all this, right? Which he's a total jokester. That's where I get my silliness. To coming to America with these two kids, and pulling telephone cable and working really hard, and him and my brother starting a telephone cabling company, and remember just working really hard. And as I was looking at him, I didn't see his shortcomings, the alcohol and the not being around that much, all of that. I just saw a man who came here to live different. And I started thinking about my own life, and I started thinking about what we put weight on as in what is important, and what gives us anxiety, right? Especially today with all this noise. And I don't want to minimize that, because our stresses are our stresses, and everyone's story is different, but nothing nothing will give you rack focus in life. Nothing will give you perspective faster than, I think, life or death. So whether a baby is born or someone passes, because I think we sink into our daily routines and our trenches and our quicksand, and the things that bother us can become very amplified, and we stress out about little things. And then, when we lose someone, or we actually give birth to a new life, everything within that second changes, right? And then you're able to pull back and see things that are bigger than what you're used to seeing. You're able to pull back and maybe even understand the human experience, right? Maybe you're even able to connect some dots, and realize that life is very short and delicate. And also, maybe you need to worry less about things that you're worried about, and worry more, or actually not worry at all, but actually decide to engage and ask yourself what kind of life you want to live. Because part of me looking into his eyes was also me realizing that I'm going to be on that bed one day, and I'm going to sit there staring into whoever I'm staring into, probably crying or maybe laughing, but showing some emotion through my eyes, probably, right? If my body is shutting down. And I'm going to be thinking about how I lived my life and if I had regrets and, what I could have done. And I think there's nothing more sad than being on that bed and wishing that you could have lived a different life, right? As you move on from this life to whatever's next, wishing that you could have done something different, or wishing that you said something different to someone, or acted differently, or maybe let go of things that you were holding on to, or maybe telling someone that you love them, Anyway, a reminder to shuffle your life chips on what is really important, and to have the courage to do the things and be the person that you want to be. Because you can't rewind your life, and one day, whether you are on a bed or on a plane, or in an ambulance, I don't know, but one day it's gonna come, and you will go with more peace, and you will go with more confidence that you were here for a reason. I think today was a great reminder for me to live with intention, to love harder, to forgive more. All the shit that I write about, and also the stuff that I write about, but also forget to practice myself, to really put weight on what's important, to allow the little things that we stress out about and we put a black light over and that we amplify and magnify, to give that less of our time and energy, but also be really picky on who we surround ourselves with, right? And to practice self-care, and to know that the more that you invest in the relationship with yourself, the less regrets you will have when it's your time.